or whatever it is, I don't really care, because all I care is that they had a fear of dark closets, and now they can go in the closet and change their clothes, and it's not a problem. So
that's really the key.
Yeah.
Did you mention that? Because they say the proof is in the pudding, and we have that. There's so many different types of energy healing that's going on. There's faith healing that's going on. People can do it through meditation. They can do it through prayer. They can do it by changing their attitude about things. And we're beginning to find out more and more in traditional medicine how important attitude is, and how really what kind of a role it plays in the healing. In fact, we discovered this in the 50s with the whole, testing of things, introducing a placebo. And we were just alarmed and surprised, the scientists were, that people were getting a reaction from just taking this totally inert little sugar pill. And then we got more and more into it, and we understood how powerful, mind over matter is. So people that believe in this, and I know you're a certified emotion code practitioner, and emotion is such an important part of the process of improving something, healing, or whatever it is, or changing a habit in going in a benign way. And in fact, maybe you can just give us a little bit of background on your certification on emotion code practitioner, because we talked about that when we were on the show a little bit over a month ago, and I know that's an important element of training.
Yeah. Dr. Bradley Nelson, the founder of the Emotion Code and the Body Code, which is part of the same... Emotion Code is one little part of the Body Code, which Body Code's more deep into it. He discovered this he was a chiropractor in Orange County, my hometown of California. And after working with so many clients, he closed down his chiropractic clinic and started training people all around the world, because he realized he doesn't need them to come to his office. And so all the people he trains pretty much work on people through Skype or phone call. Most of my clients are in the U.S. and I'm in Japan, but his emotion code is so easy to learn, because it's just a little graph, which I'm going to actually, because I'm making a video of this, I'm going to put it on YouTube so people can actually see the graph. Here is on my video. It's a little box of 60 emotions, and he broke it down into columns A and column B, and then he broke each of those columns into rows, 6 rows. So you can quickly, when I first started learning this, you would have to ask, is this emotion in the B column or the A column? You get a yes or no with muscle testing. And then you go, okay, if it's in the A column, is it an odd row? And you get a yes on that. Is it an even row? You get a no. And then you go, is it 1, 3, or 5? Because it's an odd row. And then you get a yes on one of those and the no on the other 2. And then in each of the boxes, there's 5 emotions. And you just ask which one of those is, and one of them will give you a strong muscle test and one won't. So that's how the motion code works. And he has a book out, which the ebook I think is like $9. I don't know how much the regular... Actually, I think the printed book and the ebook is the same price. But he said if you were to be on an island in wherever, and this book were to float up on the shore, you can pretty much heal most of all your problems, because emotions are about 90% of everything that we work on in the body code. So the certification program is really good too, because you can do it online. You don't have to go to any classes. So there's videos you watch, and then there's tests you take, and then you have to work with like about 30 clients. I think 10 in person and 20 you can do by proxy, which is long distance. And you have to work on, I think, 5 or 6 pets. So we work on animals, we work on people, and then you send in all your results, and they give you a certification. And it's a pretty easy certification to get. And it's getting more and more expensive. I got it when it was less expensive, but I think it's like $300 or $400 now to get a certification. But you have to go through all this. I think it's like a 6-month program. But it's really good for people who want to learn energy healing, and they're anywhere in the world, and they don't have to. Like for me, I was in Japan when I got the certification, so I was doing it while he was in. I think he lives in Utah now. So anyone can do it anywhere in the world. You can learn it really quickly. But if you just buy the book, you can pretty much learn it. And if you don't want to get the certification, and you can just learn it with the book and do healing on yourself and other people. That's for $10. It's pretty cool.
What's interesting, I mentioned, guess we're really up against the break now, so I'll describe this afterwards. I'm going to talk a little bit about what science's position is on this once we discovered and verified that, in fact, the placebo effect was real. Science then had to come up with a theory to be able to support that because, you know, obviously we need to come up with something to support the evidence that we had clearly that was coming up in these tests. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the whole realm of science that deals with immunology, which is kind of an interesting branch of medicine concerned with how emotions affect our whole immune system and so forth and so on. But we're really right up against a break right now, and then I'm hoping that folks are listening in the chat line or calling in or Skyping in or doing whatever they're doing to get on the show to actually get into. Now, what are some of the things that in particular you would like to do, Tim? You would like to have help somebody go through some, in touch with their past lives, or do you want to get in touch with some of their current physical problems? What are some of the things?
Yeah, whatever issue they have, I can work on. And if their body's ready to go into past life, will go into past life. It's pretty much based on their body what it's ready for. But usually I could ask, and we can go into past life, because since that's what you guys asked me to do this show. But we can, a lot of times, the body won't be ready to go into past life, and it'll have to work on stuff that maybe early childhood things. But it'll all come up with muscle testing for me really quickly.
Fair enough. Okay, well, folks, we're going to take a short break, and we will be back in about 2 or 3 minutes. So stay tuned, and we're going to talk about more about all the things we're talking about with with healing, and then also with past life regression, and also just some of the things that are involved with your, early life and how that can affect your health today. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Okay, guys, I'm getting calls, but it's not letting me add them to the Skype, so I'm just gonna.
Okay.
I'll call you guys right back.
Okay.
Okay, I'm here.
Hey, Lucy.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yes.
All right, I'm calling in for my cell now to see. It says answering this call will put your active call on hold. Maybe you guys can try calling me.
Okay. Let me just 1 second. Let me write down with you. Hold on.
No, just hit the connect button.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just to me though, not to the group. Okay.
So should I hang up?
Yeah, I'll hang up. You too, Tim.
Okay. Okay.
Hi, Tim. I'm
Hello.
here.
Okay.
You there, Lucy? Okay. Did that work better?
I'm checking it now. Nope, it's still telling me the same thing. Joe, I have no idea what I'm going to do.
Okay, so you get people who are trying to call in, but we can't connect them?
Yeah, it says answering this call will put your active call on hold. So if I answer the call when it's calling, you guys go on hold and you can't hear each other. I've never had that happen before. There's usually a little button that says add to the call.
I'll mention something as soon as we're back.
Okay, I know there's a couple of people in chat that are on Skype. So if they call us, if they're on my Skype, I can hook them into the call.
Okay.
So just tell them, let me know in the thing. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
See where the commercial's at. Okay, if you're ready, you're hot.
Yep. Well, folks, we're back, and this is your second segment of the show, and it's your host, Dr. Joe Donlin, and I'm here on the show tonight with Tim Janakos. And I was just talking about a branch of science that a branch of medicine actually, modern medicine, relatively new, psychoneuroimmunology, which is a branch of medicine concerned with how emotions can affect the immune system, and it suggests that emotional states. It more than suggests, it actually has evidence to support the notion that emotional states affect our physical bodies through purely, medically understood means, specifically the body effects of neuro hormones such as noradrenaline, vasopressin, cortisol, epinephrine, and so forth and so on. And these things are secreted by special neurons into the cerebrospinal fluid and intercellular spaces of the nervous system. But I think there's even more to it than that, to be honest with you. I think that there's actually a whole other maybe morphic field that comes into play here. But certainly these are things that we didn't understand, and certain emotions can inhibit these, like this whole fight or flight chemicals, which can comprise, part of the immune system and so forth. But all of this, even if that is the case, these are very subtle. And what we're saying is that your emotions, however it is that whether it's to touch, whether it's through many of the things we talk about here in the show, they're having an ultimate effect on emotion, which is always why we say positive emotions are very important to have and maintain all the times, which is why you want to let go of hatred, let go of anger, and let go of envy and so forth and so on, because these things are actually poisoning you and actually making you ill. By the way, we have a lot of folks that are trying to call in, and we're having difficulty. The studio is getting the message, which we never saw before, that if they accept those calls in, they're going to unfortunately disconnect Tim and me on the particular call. And we were trying to figure that out on the break while we were on the commercial, and we don't understand it. We tried to do a few different things. We've never seen this before, and I'm sorry, but that's one of the problems sometimes you have with live radio. However, there also are a few people that are on the chat line that have access, that also have questions, that are trying to get on and have access to Skype, and maybe we can get them in on the Skype method as opposed to phone calls coming in. And I do apologize to you folks that are out there trying to call in. We're working on the problem. Please, just keep listening, and we're hoping to get it fixed, and maybe we'll have it fixed before the next, segment break. And again, I apologize. I don't have the answer to that. But anyway, so I guess we're going to try to call some of these phone numbers back and see what we can do. But please stay tuned and keep listening, and we'll do the best we can to get you on the show. But Tim, so short of that, we're going to get some other people in there, in terms of, your studies and what you've been able to do with how important emotions are, and how they affect the outcome of things. Why don't you talk about that more from, your training, because I'm talking about them a little bit more from, the Western science viewpoint on that.
Okay, so Dr. Bradley Nelson, the chiropractor that founded the Body Code and Emotion Code, he believes these emotions are little balls of energy that are stuck in your body. Sometimes when you go through an emotion, it passes through your body, and your body, I can say, digests it or does whatever it does with it, and it clears it out. But sometimes the emotion's too strong and it gets stuck in your body, and it becomes this like little ball of energy. So the cool thing is he's shown in live classes how he could actually have one person on one side of the stage doing a muscle test and the other person on the other side doing the same muscle test for the motion. So they're doing a long distance one, and he can touch the person's body who's doing the proxy testing for the person on the other side of the stage. He can touch where that ball of energy is, and when he brings it to the surface, when we ask about a trapped emotion, it comes to the surface, it's this big ball of energy. And people can actually feel that ball of energy. It's like a colder sensation. And then right when we release that emotion, that area of the body becomes really warm right away. So it's really strange because he's doing it on one person on one side of the stage, and the other person is the actual person that's getting the healing done. But we're using the other person as a surrogate. And the person's body, someone can feel it over here, and it gets really cold once that emotion comes up. Say it's a trapped emotion in the shoulder, and it's this ball of energy, and they can actually touch the ball of energy outside of the skin. Like it's some of the balls are about as big as a cantaloupe, or some of them are smaller like a lemon, or some of them really small like a golf ball. But depends on how big the energy was of the trapped emotion. But it's really interesting that it shows like a cold sensation usually if you touch this trapped emotion on both person's body, the one that's doing the surrogate testing and the one that's the actual person we're working on. And then right when we release that emotion, that area of the body will all of a sudden get warm, which is really interesting. So I'm sure they're doing tests with different scientists and stuff like that. I don't really get into testing with scientists only because there's so many scientists who have so many beliefs that are holding them back from accepting things that are outside of their box of thinking, that I don't really have time for it, because I'm here to try to help people overcome their problems, and that's all I'm really concerned with. I'm not really worried about proving myself right or wrong. All I'm worried about is people that have suffering from whatever disease or whatever symptoms they're having. If those go away right away, I'm super happy, and they're happy, and they tell their friends about me, which is why more and more people I'm getting around the world calling me up to do healing.
Right. I'm a little bit on the other side of the equation because I am a scientist, so basically I try to go by that. But there's a great deal of scientists, a great deal of, I'm pleased to say, colleagues and folks that I've had some interaction with that are really doing some very good investigation. One comes to mind, David Hawkins, who's Dr. Hawkins he's a very highly regarded MD. He's a medical doctor and also a PhD, and he's actively practiced psychiatry for he's pretty old now, but he's been on everything, Neil Lear Report and Today's Show and so forth. Anyway, so he really has ventured from the mainstream of his field. He conducted this. This is going to kind of go along with what you're talking about. He conducted this almost 30-year study which revealed that the human body actually becomes physically stronger or conversely weaker depending on a person's moods. And depending on basically it's effectively the vibrational frequency of that. The mood basically translates to a vibrational frequency. And he goes through it. I know he's written, I know I have two of his books. They have almost the same kind of name. One was like The Power versus Force, and the other one was like The Eye of the Eye or something like that. I think he's got another one as well, but he talks about that. But anyway, during his research, he developed something that he would call the map of human consciousness, and he puts forth the notion that it reflects the energy level of various emotions. So he kind of a little bit like what you just talked about, but he breaks down the emotions into like an energy scale. So, for example, it starts very low, around 200, okay? These are low base emotions, and then they go higher and higher. So, in fact, they actually start lower. They start all the way down to 1, and then they go up to, say, 1,000. And so anything less than, say, 200 or 250 kind of, low emotions or bad emotions that actually have harm, and the ones that are after that are helpful. For example, the negative ones would be, fear and anxiety and craving and anger and hate and envy and those kinds of things. And higher emotions would be uplifting with willingness and optimism and acceptance and forgiveness. And understanding and love. Of course, love is way up there, and reverence and joy and serenity, and that's why we talk about that. And those all heal the body. And then only, so we talk about feeling down or feeling up. Well, it's very interesting. We've been saying that for years, and he measured them from literally a power standpoint. The good news in all of that, beside having science kind of support what you've been saying, Tim, is that powerful emotions are, higher emotions have a higher frequency. And by definition, law of thermodynamics, higher frequencies override weaker frequencies. In other words, they're more powerful. They're more powerful frequencies. And these more powerful frequencies override the other ones. So you can, it is easier to become uplifted, honestly, than it is to become, feeling kind of down. So that should be a natural, state of our being, if you would. But we have so many things that go on in our lives today that kind of do drag us down. But a natural state should be higher than that because, the body wants to be healthy. The body tries to be healthy. So, so an awful lot of it is based on that. And this is in perfect accord with the laws of thermodynamics, where, as I say, more powerful vibrations always overcome weaker ones. And, but anyway, so it's, as I say, some of it, I'm getting into the science of it, but it's important to me that it matches up, because we shouldn't have things at odds, if you would, between, some of the theories, if you would, within the laws of physics, say, and the ideas within the the study of metaphysics. They shouldn't be contradictory. They should actually be matching up, and what you're talking about matches up very, very well. So we have, I have, at least I'm getting some questions in from the chat, so maybe we can talk about that. One of the guests from the chat line is saying they have an issue with progression to move forward, and so I have an issue with my progression to move forward. How do I remove this block?
Okay.
And what would you say to that, Tim?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to be a surrogate for this person. Now, the good thing is I don't even have to know the person's name, because the person is typing on chat, and we know that person, your body knows, my body knows on a deep subconscious level who this person is. They wouldn't be contacting us if they didn't know us on a deep subconscious level. They wouldn't be on the show. So if I can get your permission, Joseph, to be the surrogate for this person, I'm going to ask you some questions, and you're just going to say yes for that person. Does that sound cool? Whoops. Where am I? I got to call. Huh?
From the 808.
Okay.
Okay, we have someone. Good.
No, we live. We back live on
I'm gonna pop you back
the air.
now, okay?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay.
So let's take the 808 area code person, yes.
Hang on just 1 second, Tip. So, folks, we're back live, and we did get the glitch fixed, and we have a caller in from the 808 area. And sorry for that sudden commercial, because we were in the middle of trying to get this solved, and we kind of had to go. So, caller from 808, welcome to the show. And who is this, please?
Hi.
Hi.
This is Shannon. Actually, Tim, it's Shannon from Huntington.
Cool.
And very nice. Well, Huntington, California?
Huntington Beach.
Yep.
Huntington Beach. Oh, I know the area well. I was just out there a few weeks ago.
Surf capital of the world.
Welcome to the show, Sharon. And you're on, of course, with Dr. Joe Donald, but also Tim Janakos is going to be answering, I'm sure, your question tonight. And what's bothering you, or what's on your mind? We have another caller.
Actually, Hi. Hi, Tim.
Yes.
Hello? Pardon me.
Well, yeah, we're just going to go one at a time. So Sharon from Huntington Beach area is going to go first, but other callers, just hang on for a second. Go ahead, Sharon.
Hi, Tim. It's actually Shannon.
Shannon, yeah.
I'm sorry, Shannon.
Yes. How are you?
Excellent. Good to hear from you again. So, what's one issue you want to? What's one issue you want to work on today?
Well, I guess it's mostly my anxiety.
Okay.
That's the hugest thing.
Okay. The cool thing is, when I muscle test for your body says it doesn't belong to you. So, it doesn't really. We were going to go into some past life issues. We go into past life issue with you, but right now, this anxiety, everywhere you haven't been willing to claim, own, and acknowledge that you are psychic and that you are able to pick up all the energy of all the people's issues around you, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate anything that wouldn't allow you to perceive, know, and be and receive your true power?
Well, Shannon, you might want to shut the radio off in the background, or whoever has the radio on in the background. You might just put it on mute for the time being.
Okay, it's probably the person in the 208 area code. If someone can mute the 208, I don't know if there's a way to mute them.
I'm good.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So Shannon, your body's, once again, just if you can say yes. If you don't understand what I say, that's okay. I'll have you listen to the replay. I'm going to put it on YouTube. You're going to understand what I said, because a lot of times when I say these clearing processes, it'll get to the deep subconscious level, and you won't hear what I say until after you go back and listen to the replay. So once again, everywhere you haven't been willing to claim, own, and acknowledge that you are a psychic being and you can pick up all the energies of other people, and everywhere you haven't been willing to be, know, perceive, and receive your true power so you can send that back to them with full awareness, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate at all times of Buddha Zillion?
Absolutely, yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pod and pock, shorts, boys and beyond. Okay, so for people listening the first time, I'm doing a little access clearing. I have like 20 different modalities I use, but lately access consciousness has been the one that's been coming up all the time to use, which is just a set of verbal processing. And you could go on my YouTube videos. I have many of them. You can learn about them because we don't have time to really go into what it means. But the good thing is anyone on the line who listens to this and says yes along with Shannon, what I just said is a clearing statement after that clears that out of her. So I should have asked you, Shannon, on a level of 1 to 10, when you first called in your anxiety level, what was it at the time when you called in, if you can remember? 10 being the worst, 1 being not at all.
Oh, probably like 6.
Okay. So did you notice it go down a little so far?
It has gone down a little, yes.
Good. Okay. So is there something else? Yeah. Okay, so we could go into past life issues. So do we... Okay, last life. Okay, so your body thinks you were a male in your last life. Whether you were or whether you weren't, don't worry about whether this is true or not, because it might be stored memory in your body from your grandfather or your uncle or whoever knows. But anyway, your body thinks it's you in a past life when you were a male. So, okay. So your body thinks in this lifetime you had the option to be really famous, but you were like stage fright all the time. So every time your body thinks you're scared from stage fright, it's actually, for most people, it's your body doesn't understand the difference between excitement and fear. So when you go on stage, you have the potential to change many people's lives with what you do in your performance, whether it's a talk or whether it's a dance or whether it's whatever, or musical performance. And that excitement of what your possibility is creating is, your body thinks of it as fear. So everywhere you have in that lifetime misapplied and misappropriated excitement as fear, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate at all times of Buddha Zillion?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pod and pock, shorts, boys and beyond. And everywhere you thought, because every day you're stepping onto the stage of your life and you think you're afraid of what the possibilities are, instead of you being completely excited because you have infinite possibilities before you and you have infinite ability to transform any reality into something positive for you. Everywhere you've misdiagnosed that as some kind of fear when it actually is just excitement, because you know your true potential is beyond anything this reality can really fathom, because you're an infinite being. Would you be willing to destroy and uncreate everywhere you thought that was fear?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pod and pock, shorts, boys and beyond. Okay, so the level of 6 that went down, what would you say the level is now in your anxiety?
It's probably close to a 4.
4, okay. So is there something more in this life? Yeah, do we need to do anything more with past life? No. So we're going to do something on this life. Okay, so there's a trapped emotion. We can do trapped emotions from past lives too, but your body says it's from this life. It's failure. Do we need to, yeah. Again, I'm asking things quietly.
And folks, just the ones that are still on the line, 208 and 732, just hang on. We will get to you.
Okay, so if you can remember, Shannon, between the age of